Meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Yes, sir. Mr. Barnett,
Present.
Mr. Austin,
Here.
Mr. Allen,
Here.
Mr. Alt,
Here.
Mr. Agers,
Here.
Mr. Fox,
Here.
Mr. Wirtz.
Here.
Sir, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. Indication of pledge, if you would please, Mr. Wirtz.
Let's bow our heads. Father, be with this city council as we do the business of our community. Be with our fire and police departments as they are first on our scene for the issues we have. Be with our military around the world and allowing us the freedom. Be with our city employees as they do the work of our community. And allow us to make good decisions for our community. In Jesus' name, amen. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Do you have any announcements or public comments? Hand up or cutting glasses? All right. Hearing none, we'll move into consent agenda.
Make a motion to approve consent agenda minutes from April 18th.
Second. Motion by Barnett, second by Abbott. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Next, under old business.
Make a motion to read all under old business by title only.
Second. Motion by Barnett, second by Abbott. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. These are also set, will be set for public hearing. First item is Common Council Legislative Ordinance number 1605, an additional appropriation to fund the position of Public Relations and Marketing Director. This was obviously brought up a couple of weeks ago at the last City Council meeting. I've had conversations with a couple of you, one of you recently today, kind of explaining why and why now, and a lot of those questions. I'd be more than happy to answer any additional questions that you all may have. Receive any of your comments.
I'm going to call you today. I was too busy, but actually over the weekend I was thinking the scope of duties. Say marketing. What do we? Because we get stuff in downtown Franklin that they do. I know that's different, but what are you looking at doing, like selling Franklin, like to business or?
I don't like to use the word selling Franklin because I don't want everybody to think that we have a price tag on this in that sense. So for the last 4 years, I think we've done a lot of work in building up a community from the sense of infrastructure improvements that we're in desperate need of. We have roads that hadn't been touched in 30 years, and I think we've made a lot of headway between the various boards, council, redevelopment commission, FTC. A lot of folks have played a heavy hand in all this, and we've gotten a lot of those things accomplished. And now I think it's the time that we need to tell our story, who we are, where we are, and why people should choose Franklin, whether it's future residents, future businesses, future entrepreneurs. And I think with the task load that comes out of my office, keep in mind we're, including myself, there's 2 in that office, and it's a pretty heavy burden that's put on us on a daily basis. Keep in mind this is marketing and public relations, not just for the mayor's office. This is for all departments. This is for the city of Franklin. Being able to lean on this person to help tell our story. There's an example, and I think I may have even mentioned it a couple weeks ago, with another mayor friend of mine came to our community back in December and thought what we had done in the downtown was amazing and thought it was awesome. But he said, and he's from Hamilton County, and he said, why haven't we heard about this? Well, 1, we haven't told our story, and 2, we need to reach into the media that is north of us, and so we can help get that story out. Recently we've had a lot of good coverage. Indianapolis Monthly Magazine recently had an article about the downtown IBJ picked up on the project, the Wayne Street project. Insanity of Business also picked up on that project. Fox 59 picked up on that project. But that's just one. That's just one project. We have a tremendous amount of things going on right now, and to be honest with you, I can't even keep up with them all. Whether it's the Kroger, the Meyer, the current King Street project, the King Street project that starts next Monday, the Jefferson Street project that starts in August, the paving programs that we have going on, the Wayne Street project, the PetSmart project that's going in next to the current Kroger, the new Kroger. I don't even know what that's just a short list of those projects. And to be able to tell that story and get that message out is sometimes it's beyond Angie and I to be able to tell it. Social media is one of those that I think that we either don't have the time or don't quite have the knowledge. And when I say the knowledge, I'm pointing the finger back at me. The time I'm pointing at Angie. To really capitalize on what we really could be doing with social media. And let's be honest, that's an industry that's going to continue to grow exponentially, and we don't take full advantage of that. And that's just one small snippet, one facet of how we can get our message out about who we are and what we are. I think you mentioned DDF. We have a strong collaborative effort when we have events, whether it's Strawberries on the Square, whatever festivals are going on, it's all hands on deck. The volunteers, many of them are city employees, and so they are volunteering their time, and thank you for that. But it is a collaborative effort. We tend to work well together all the time.
Yeah, and when I mentioned DEF, I wasn't fair because I never talked to Tara prior to, because that's, because that could put a rub between the mayor's office and DEF. And also,
Okay.
Well, and so
I mean, like collaborative though, I do, because we do that well anyways.
Yeah, right.
As a city, as a government.
it was actually almost 4 years ago to the date. I looked it up because I was curious of when the money was appropriated to create the engineering position, which ended up being Travis. That was approved on May 7th of 2012. So it was almost, and it wasn't by plan, it was just by happenstance. I knew it was sometime early in 2012, but I don't remember when. And that was May 7th of 2012 when those dollars were appropriated to create that position. And because we weren't ready to tell people who Franklin was or what we have or what we could have. And so I think a lot of the work that's gone on over the last 4 or 5 years, we're ready to unveil that.
Okay, I guess the biggest thing is do you have someone in mind right now?
No.
Because I was wondering, if we create this position now, I mean, we're coming up on our 2017 budget, just here in a couple of months. I mean, could we wait for that, or is it, that's why I wanted to know, is it important that we do it, we allocate the money now?
I've held this off for probably as long as I thought I possibly could. This is something that Angie and I talked about at the end of 2015. And it talked about getting it on the agenda beginning of the year, and we've kind of held off as long as we possibly could. Construction projects are getting ready to, as you know, explode. And examples of things that we need to stay out in front of are the public relations side of things with businesses and homeowners on Jefferson Street. Last week we held our 6th public meeting just on Jefferson Street project. That's the last public meeting, but that won't be the last interaction we have with the public, obviously. There's going to be a lot of daily interaction with them. And so right now that's going to fall on really me, Angie, and probably Travis to have those communications. And they are very important, but there are a lot of times that I can't get back to you immediately. And so we need to stay on in front of some of these public relation issues that may come up on Jefferson Street, whether it's trees or the cable line was cut, or a sidewalk is, I need access to my sidewalk, I need access to my driveway. And that's just one piece of some of the things that this person could do. I don't have anyone in mind. I thought it would be an ideal opportunity to maybe capitalize on, there's a lot of universities getting ready to pump a whole bunch of potential employees out into the workforce in the next 2 to 3 weeks with graduations coming up. I thought maybe it was a good opportunity to see what kind of resumes are coming out of Franklin College and IU and some of those others.
So are you looking, Joe, at all? before you even vote somebody, or sooner, or?
If this is approved tonight, I can tell you we will work tomorrow to get the notification out publicly to, you know, the folks we need to, that we need to, so we can start collecting resumes, start doing those interviews as soon as possible. We want to make sure you find the right candidate. I don't want to just hire the first person that comes in and may not be a good fit. It's not necessarily, it's not always just their knowledge, it's also the personality and how they're going to fit in with
Well, that was my thought, because I wouldn't want
work
to
with
rush
city
into,
hall people.
you know, these projects start, I wouldn't want to just rush into somebody. Just to-
No, because there's going to be, there's a steep learning curve. I'm going to educate them also with everything that's going on and what's not to happen. B2S across the street, another example.
There's a couple other things that come to my mind, the trail.
5.5 miles of trail,
Roaring Run.
Run project. We were just awarded a grant. We'll talk about that quickly, but we were just awarded a grant. We didn't even apply for it through Indiana Department of Homeland Security and OKRA to create a flood recovery plan. So in the event that 2008 would occur again, we would have a plan that we could set in place, set the ball rolling immediately with various folks involved. So there's a grant that was just presented to the board works tonight. We just found out about last week.
2008 happens again, I don't see all the line move. That's what we're doing right now.
So
We're approved.
yes, you hope that that never happens again, but no.
Mr. Mayor, I agree entirely that I think that you're going to need a lot more help in your office. I just don't want to start the precedent of creating more, creating these positions or creating this appropriation in the middle of an already budgeted year. That being said, it has happened in the past, so it's not establishing a new precedent, but I don't want it to become a common thing.
Yeah, I mean, so keep in mind that I'm a nerd when it comes to the budget and creating all of these appropriations during the proper procedure. And you can ask the department heads. I start the budget process July 1st.
No, I remember from last year.
So it's,
I'm very involved.
and I enjoy it. They don't, but I do. And so if I didn't think that this was financially feasible, I wouldn't do it.
No, and I understand that. I totally agree that I think we're in a fiscal position that it's possible. I just don't want this to be a recurring theme.
Sure.
That being said, I am in favor of this position.
And I agree with all that. I guess a part of that, from the private sector, the business is cranking along and all of a sudden, your business explodes. You go out and you take care of those needs personnel-wise. And I sort of see that. I know private sector and government are not the same, and I understand what you're saying, and I agree with that. But, this business has exploded. And you guys have to have help, and I think we want to be able to tell a story, and I think we want to do a good job of it. Because we don't, what we're doing will be, not that it will be a failure, but it'll be mitigated by our lack of doing what we need to do.
Yeah, things are rolling along extremely smooth right now, and a lot of activity is going on. We have every week we're getting contacted by new developers that have never probably even knew where Franklin was, and so it's a great problem to have. But we have to keep that ball rolling. If we slip up and we just focus in on what we have today and we don't plan on what we need to have in 5-10 years from now, I don't want to take 3 steps back.
Sir, I remind you this is published as a public hearing.
Yes. Perfect segue. Anyone from the public have any comments or questions? Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing. Any other council comments, questions?
Yeah, Bill,
Yes, sir.
you said you don't want to sell Franklin, but to me, you haven't sold this position to me yet.
Okay.
I've not heard anything about it other than from the last meeting. I think Bill Adams said something about a scope of the duties and stuff, and I've not seen that. And I just have an issue with doing this at this point in time. We got just a couple of months prior to the budget hearing. And, when we do something off the cuff like this, and I'm not saying you don't need it, but, I'd just like to think about it, because I've not seen anything on it. And when we're talking about a full-time position, that's just not the salary, that's the benefits involved and everything. And that's coming close to a firefighter's salary or a police officer's salary. It's over a street worker's salary. And it's just hard for me to swallow to have somebody doing social media when we could be hiring firemen and police with those funds. So I guess I'm just going to say that I'm not for this at this time because I don't think you sold it.
Mayor, what would be the return? I mean, to sell small business like that, what would be the return on the investment?
On creating this new position.
Yes, do you believe it's not a right business? I mean, what are we looking at?
Well, I mean, even smaller concept things. So we have an opportunity here to expand on. Did you hear anything from the city when Google Summit was in town with 635 people?
Did not hear anything.
No. And that's our fault. But we had no time. I had no capacity to do it. So here's another one. I can tell you right now with the way that my schedule is, when the budget cycle comes around in July, I don't know that I'm going to be able to do it. I mean, that is, right now, I can tell you I'm not home much at night, and when I talk to my wife, she's like, this is the craziest it has been in 4.5 years. I said, absolutely. The demand on our time right now is more than I could have imagined 4.5 years ago. Not complaining, it's a great thing. I think what we're doing is awesome, and we're having a lot of fun doing it. But unfortunately, right now, it is a very, very high demand of our time. So put whatever title you want to on this, because I think they're going to be filling in a lot, not just out of my office, but for community development and the engineer, planning department, police department, fire department, any one of them is, because it is right now all hands on deck when it comes to any of the things that we're doing. Whether it's Brett at the street department or Greg at DPW, whatever. Everybody is chipping in and helping out because it's a lot of great things are going on. I mean, our assist value has grown 10% in the last 2 years. So, we're reaching $1 billion in assist value. That's crazy. And the development, show building number 2 may be coming along much quicker than we anticipate. Because the demand on that right now is incredibly high, and it's Franklin. I mean, I really can't I can't explain it, but it's an awesome time to be here, but it is very demanding.
Mayor, I think it's a direct reflection of, our master plan that we put together over the last 15 to 20 years, and as the city grows, I mean, we're going to see more and more of these type requests as our departments get larger, more people move to town, more industry moves to town. I think it's really a reflection of what we worked hard on over the last 15, 20 years.
Yeah. It's from a public relations and marketing standpoint, I think, if we look at that and you try to define that, I don't know that there really are a lot of parameters on it at this time. That industry is ever evolving, particularly with the invention of social media and networking opportunities. But I can tell you right now, I follow other communities on Twitter and LinkedIn and some of the other, and they are hammering away when it comes to the social media, and they receive a lot of accolades for that, and a lot of publicity and a lot of business comes from that. And so it is difficult to explain. I can tell you though that this person would be staying out in front of construction projects, helping us out with the public on that, marketing what we're doing.
What do you got? pardon me, but what do you mean by staying out for construction? I mean, that's planning work.
Well, the ability to, so when the construction's going on, they're walking around knocking on doors, talking to the business owners, talking to the people that, the residents, and saying, are you having any issues? Or, are your services been cut off? Or are you upset about anything? Is there anything we can help you with? Is the trash being collected on time? Is your mail being delivered? Those are the issues that we deal with every day during the construction. They call in, the mail wasn't delivered, Ray's didn't pick up my trash because they couldn't get down the street or whatever, and they're gonna happen. I mean, it's inevitable. And so with those type of projects, also, and like I said, telling our story, being out in front of some of these things, getting the press releases out. The Google Summit is another one. The school did a great job of getting the word out from their end, but from our end, we didn't. They coordinated with all the downtown businesses. We didn't really do much.
Are there any light positions like that?
I'm sorry.
Are there any light positions where you're trying to create?
Yeah,
I know
so,
in larger cities, but they usually like deputy mayors or stuff like that. They're the ones that are out there.
yeah, so, I mean, so we always compare ourselves to Greenwood, right, because they're in the same county. But they're twice our size, but they have a marketing department. Molly Loud is their marketing director. And they have a group of people that do that. They also outsource some of their marketing. But they have 2 or 3 people on staff that's all they do. And then they sub out some of their work to Hirons to do some of their PR stuff. Excuse me.
That'd be a good.
The school actually just created this position 6 months ago, probably. And theirs was kind of a joint, it was kind of I'm not sure how they pulled it off, but there was kind of like an HR and community outreach kind of person as one. They've separated those two into somebody that handles their HR and insurance things for their employees, and then it's Robin Betts is the one that handles the community outreach and community liaison, public relations kind of work.
Okay.
Mayor, I think there probably is a need. The time might not be right, but the communications for our community and the growth that we have over the next several months, I think it probably is important to start this position rather than waiting till next year. Because with all those, just watching your office a few times, the communications is difficult with all the incoming calls and people and issues going on at one time.
And that's kind of like what I'd like to see more of instead of, I know there's semantics right here, but more of a communications, because everything you've said so far is not so much marketing, because that's my major is marketing. And it's more of a communication than getting the word out.
Well,
And handling issues, because that's what you ran into.
And I think marketing components, when I go meet, I'm still going to do all the site visits when it comes to economic development projects. I enjoy doing it. That's just part of what I like to do. But a lot of times we sit around and wait. Those come in from the state, or they come in from a site selection firm, coming through Cheryl Markey, which she gets them from IEDC and the site selection firms. But why aren't we out there trying to tell who we are, what we're doing, and that, I bet there's not a lot of people in the audience that know that we have 8 Japanese auto part manufacturers in Franklin. That's our largest, by far our largest industry. People ask, well, what does Franklin do? What does he do? Well, we have a lot of Japanese influence. 8. We're in the top 5 in the state on the number of Japanese businesses in Franklin, over 24,000 people.
I know this is probably going to be a split decision, it sounds like, but I'd like to go ahead and just bring this to a vote. I'd make a motion to approve budgetary ordinance number 16-05.
Second.
And could we have a roll call vote, please?
We have a motion by Barnett, second by Wertz.
Mr. Barnett,
Yes.
Mr. Austin,
Yes.
Mr. Avon,
Oh, Jesus, it's hard right there. I don't know if you can vote with a caveat, but can we see something next time around? Like, scope of duties and stuff like this? I've never done anything like this before, because this is definitely putting a cart before the horse. But, wait, somebody answer? All right, I'll vote yes.
Mr. Alt,
I know how you feel, Joe, I feel bad, I feel like a bad guy, but I'm gonna vote no.
Mr. Agers,
Yes.
Mr. Fox,
Yes.
and Mr. Wertz.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you.
I just want to say that I respect Joe Alt and Joe Adams' thoughts. I just want you guys to know that.
Thanks, Steve.
Almost done. Next item is tied in with that. Common Council Budgetary Ordinance number 1606, City of Franklin Budgetary Ordinance repealing and replacing Budgetary Ordinance 1515, fixing and authorizing the payment of certain salaries of appointed officers and employees for year 2016 civil city.
This is just housekeeping, right?
Yeah, there's not a lot back in there.
Move to approve.
Cool. Motion by Eggers, second by Fox. Anyone from the public have any questions or comments? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing.
Again, motion to approve Common Council Budgetary Ordinance number 1606.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?
Aye.
Thank you. All right. New business.
Make a motion to read all under new business title only.
Second.
Motion by Barnett, second by Austin. All those in favor?
Aye.
Common Council Budgetary Resolution 1603, a Common Council Budgetary Resolution authorizing the transfer from telecommunications services 300 to telecommunications supplies 200 in the amount of $2,610.
Yes, sir, it's just.
This is, Telecommunications Council recently purchased a server system to back up. Right now, we don't have any redundancy. We have just the server for the city. This is to create a redundancy in case of a disaster or anything that would happen here at City Hall or a failure. And it is located at the police department. And so this is just authorizing the transfer of funds to pay for that. Their money is currently in their services, and this is obviously not a service, this is supply, so just transferring dollars from one line item to the next.
As advised to tell, you can act, and
Yes.
just advise to tell, it is in the budget, it's just in a different
Just in.
category, that's correct.
I move to approve Common Council Budgetary Resolution number 1603.
Second.
Motion by Hager, second by Fox. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Next is request approval of yearly tax abatement compliance reports. Ms. Linky?
Good evening, Krista Linky, Community Development Director, and I have for you tonight the remainder of the tax abatement compliance reports for the year. We did have a special meeting of the Economic Development Commission on April 26th, where the following list of tax abatement compliance reports were reviewed by the Economic Development Commission. They were all recommended approval to you by the Economic Development Commission, and I'm happy to take questions on any of them if you have them.
I would like to make a motion that we accept the compliance reports as presented.
Second.
Motion by Barnett, second by Fox. Any other comments?
Mayor, it was just a unanimous vote at the Economic Development Commission to approve these. I know we go through each and every one of them diligently, and yeah, we brought up a lot of hard questions, but, and we're calling some people on the carpet, but within reason, they're all in compliance.
Yeah, we have some follow-up to do with NSK. They had one abatement that is substantially behind their projections. They had estimated that they would have made $20 million in personal property equipment by the end of 2015, and they're at about $13 million, which is still substantial, but not exactly what was originally estimated. So we're probably going to be back to amend that and bring that amount down to what was actually purchased, and then if they purchase additional, that would be a new abatement request, is I think how we're going to handle that. So it's a good practice to go through each of these each year, and it's also a way to give me a few more gray hairs. So I have to bug people to send these forms in, and none of them fill them out the same way, but anyway, I'm happy this is the last batch of them for you, so. We did have two that were not turned in, after repeated requests, and so they will either be asking for a waiver later in the year, or they just won't receive their abatement for last year.
So we had a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?
Thank you.
Other business, as far as you have?
I do have something up for other business. I think everybody on the council knows that Mr. Admeyer, the attorney for the Fire Commission, Fire Merit Commission, had sent us a letter that stated that Mr. Larry Kames was stepping down, and he had been on the Fire Merit Commission for several years. And I think we all want to thank him for his service and time, and I mean, my understanding, he's done a real good job and put in a lot of hours. So, with that being said, I appreciate that. And also, it was our duty to come up with somebody to replace him. And I know we all had a letter to bring some names or somebody that we wanted to think about, but I took liberty to ask Mr. Joe Kelly if he was interested, and he's here tonight. So, Joe, if you want to step up, I think everybody probably knows you, but, anybody has any questions for Joe or anything, but I don't know if anybody else has any other candidates that we want to talk about, but I just, I know Joe from businessman around town, puts his heart into stuff, so with that being said, is there anything you want to say, Joe?
I said it before, I have a tremendous respect for your jobs and the mayor and our town and of course the fire department and police department, so I consider it an honor. I think that's what I did.
Anybody else? Well, I would like to make the motion that we appoint Joe Kelly to the Fire Merit Commission.
Motion by Barnett, second by Evan. Any other comments, questions? Kelly or Barnett or anyone? All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Steve. It's an honor, I look forward to it. Thank you very much.
Any other business? Any other council comments?
The only one I got is if next meeting, if we could have some kind of scope of duties, because now that this is approved, I know you're gonna hit the ground running trying to get this together.
Oh, I'm sorry. I really thought you were talking about.
No,
I'm sure it's somewhere on the website.
No, this, you said any other comments, I thought you were closing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, any other council comments about anything?
That's all, just if we could see scopes, scope of duties.
No, my brain was on Fire Merit Commission, so I wasn't tracing you there.
Roger that.
One comment I would have is, Joe, if Lynn wants to see you before you leave.
Contact information, I'll tell Mr. Admeyer.
She's not good one then, let's see.
Tell me about it.
It's all good.
Being called the principal.
And it's all good.
Madam Clerk Treasurer, anything?
No, sir.
Thank you for the chocolates. Philip, thank you.
You're all invited.
Would you like to come to the mic and tell us a little bit about it?
Well, thank you.
My name's Phil Barrow, and I'm a director of Johnson County Senior Services, and I express Ted Murphy's regrets. He couldn't be here, and he wanted to do this. So we just want, for the benefit of the folks out here, the date is August 4th?
Yes.
August 4th, we'll have our third, Johnson County Senior Services will have their third annual Dining in the Dark. It's an affair that we have. It'll be over at the new Masonic building, a little nice dining area there. Excuse me. And what we do when you come in, well, we have a number of things going on. It's a fundraiser, and we have a silent auction, and then we have an auction. A lot of things go on, but it's a lot of fun. When you come in, you're blindfolded, you need to see where everything is, where your salad is, and then where your cake is.
I buttered my roll with my strawberry cake.
The place went crazy.
Not a good idea.
No. But anyway, then you're blindfolded. And the idea is that you might experience what some of our clients go through. And they eat this way every day. So you'll end up eating with your fingers, and that's acceptable. But it's a lot of fun, and we invite you all there. We'll have some entertainment, and it's just a good time. So any of you that can come, we'd love to have you. We have table sponsorships that are available, and the literature tells you about that. Have any questions, give myself or Ken, our director, a call. Thanks for allowing us to present this, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you.
So moved.
Motion is second, all those in favor? Aye.